All right, everybody, welcome back to the Kleen-Rite Radio podcast. I'm Fix It with Phil, and as always, I'm standing here this time with my good buddy. I said this time.
Yeah, every time. You can
every
keep
time
going.
with
It's
my
every
good
time.
buddy Mark Tyndale. I was saying standing because this is the second one we're doing standing up.
I like standing.
It feels good.
Yeah.
I'm a mover, so
Let's
I
keep
get to
standing.
shift around here a little bit. Today, as we continue the Operator 101 series, today we're jumping into the people system. Mark, the people system.
Yeah, staff, outside services.
You got to have it.
You have to depend on other people. You can't do it all yourself, right? Well, you can.
You can, but you'll never get it all done, and you'll never be where you should be to make the type of revenue that you can actually do on a site, right?
People and third parties can make the difference.
They can, and developing, right? So as we jump into the people system, developing that system of a group of contractors, distributors, lawn care people,
Plumbers, electricians,
all that, right? Developing that system of people and being able to say, hey, I got this issue. I know that I can't take care of it. I'm going to call so-and-so because I know that they'll get here and get it done for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and we're probably maybe talking to the wall for the single site operator that just loves to tinker and do everything in his car wash and not pay anybody to do anything.
But I think I think there's
a push back a little bit.
I'm push back on that one, and I'm a try to do everything yourself guy, but there is a time and a place, right? And again, we're beating a dead horse. We've talked about this before, but still, even if you're not going to use that person all the time to complete those tasks, you should still have someone in your back pocket for when you can't get it done.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, there are growth-minded operators, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to grow is to trust other people sometimes and pay other people to do tasks that maybe you can do. A lot of times a trade person or a professional or a service probably does it better.
Yeah.
Not always, right?
Not always. But,
they can do it faster.
Maybe you're the guy that loves rebuilding pumps and you love rewiring this and you love redoing this. That's fair. Okay. Maybe the people system is having somebody that comes and cleans up the site on a daily basis so that you have the time
to clean,
to fix the pumps or to do that PM checklist that you made or, to look into that next venture on site that needs taken care of.
I think your point is if you're trying to do everything on your own site, cleaning, rebuilding, putting the seals in that pump, changing the boom swivel, you're probably not doing it all at a maximum level, right? You can't get it all done and do your other things that you need to get done.
Agreed. Your efficiency, there is no one that is that efficient that you can get all of that done and keep the clean site standard and ensure that everything is working the way that it needs to work all the time.
Right. Because we just did a previous podcast on predictive maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing all your own maintenance, mowing your own grass, painting your own doors,
washing down bays every day,
and doing your own cleanup,
and pulling all your own money,
you're probably not doing any predictive maintenance.
No, and when you have, predictive maintenance can get you out of a lot, but when you have those things that crop up that just it happens and it's going to happen, and Murphy's Law says it's going to happen, and it's a guarantee. You can't get to it right away all the time, and not getting to it right away all the time is not the way to operate.
That affects the customer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that affects the way that they view your site, the way, and it's a snowball effect. So having someone in your back pocket, that people system is, 101. Do you have to use it all the time? No.
Let's talk about who those back pockets are, right? So we're big promoters of solid distributors. There's a lot of good distributors out there. They come in all shapes and sizes. There's small, medium, and there's large. And depending on how big your facility is, a lot of times your distributor network kind of mirrors the size of your operation. So a lot of times the smaller operators will use the smaller distributors. And as companies become bigger, a lot of times they have to use the bigger distributors because they have more going on. They have more people. They have more parts in stock. So one is, a good distributor, right? Most distributors are not electricians, so you're going to need an electrician.
Yep.
Most distributors are not plumbers. We get a lot of calls about water softeners. A lot of times it's better to utilize a local plumber for water softeners or a water treatment company.
Mm-hmm.
I use a regular water treatment company. They come out once a quarter and check my softeners and
all that PM maintenance.
Yep, and they do my water hardness test, so I don't have to depend on my service tech who is keeping my in-bays up and running and my self-serves running to depend on them to do water hardness tests. So I make the water treatment company do it, you know, and then I probably pay a little extra for salt, but I let them deliver the salt at the same time.
But that's worked into your budget.
We do. We plan for it.
Mm-hmm.
You have landscaping, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the days where, we probably mowed our own grass. We plowed our own snow.
Mm-hmm.
And
hey, if your initial, like if car washing is your second business and your first business is lawn care and plowing,
that's different.
If you're paying someone else to do that, yeah, we're making a mistake here. But if your secondary business is car washing, being able to get off of work, get to the car wash to get that snow removed so that customers can rinse all the salt brine off of their cars, one of the heaviest hitting days of the year, you're either going to have to take off work, take a PTO day, not show up, whatever that looks like for you and what your work status is there, to get to the car wash, to get that done so customers can use it, so we can avoid slips and falls, all those types of things, or ice buildup from people constantly driving over the snow and packing it down into ice. Like, it's a compounding issue.
Yeah.
Right? So paying somebody to come take care of snow removal is not a shame on you. It's a good on you for realizing that, that is going to affect my business and I need somebody to take care of it.
Right. And I mean, pit cleaning. Pit cleaning is one that it can be expensive to use a service, but typically the good pit cleaning companies, septic companies or environmental companies, they'll put you on a schedule. So we talked before about having your own schedule. Talk to them, say, look, I want this done, whether it's, twice a season, maybe once in the fall and once in the spring. They'll remind you.
They want your business.
They want your business, and they'll get it done. Back in 100 years ago, I remember Saturdays where it was backed up, in the in-bay automatic, and our trench was full and water's like coming out the bay. That those days are over because we plan for it and we get that silt out of those trenches or those self-serve boxes. We get it cleaned out regularly.
Yep.
So we don't have that water backup day because we didn't want to spend that extra money that quarter to clean it out. And look, labor's tough.
Labor is tough.
And service tech, when you hire a service tech, you're a service tech.
Yep.
If I hire you and I say, look, Bill, I want you to fix my car wash equipment, but every once in a while, I'm going to have you shovel out a pit. It's going to be hard to hold on to you as a service tech because you're not a pit cleaner.
Yep.
And you don't want to be a pit cleaner, right? You want to fix car wash equipment. So it's hard to get people to do jobs these days that they're not accustomed to doing.
Yeah, and to ask somebody to wear every hat in the facility as your tech is not a fair ask.
Yeah, and I found very early on that service techs are terrible at power washing. Yeah. When you can hire a professional power wash company, and there's so many they call them soft wash companies now that do siding. They're much more much better at doing car washes than what they were a long time ago. They come out, they bring a crew, they have the floor. The floor
cleaners
discs that can do all your floors, where we just sit there with the power washer and go back and forth, and they're in and out. They're moving to the next site. The site looks great. They're not doing 2 bays, and then I'll get 2 bays later. They're doing the whole car wash and moving on to the next car wash.
Yep.
And you pay for that, but
it's done and you get to move on.
It's worth it. Yeah, for sure.
So building that team mindset, understanding who you can leverage for what and when you need to leverage them, right? If you have one issue crop up that you can take care of, we're not saying, hey, you need to rely on somebody else to take care of that for you. We're not saying that you shouldn't be in your car wash back room, maintaining things, but it is knowing what your limitations are and when you need to fill the gap with somebody else, right? So building that team. How do you build a team?
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, let's talk about the back end too. I mean, we don't always talk about the back end, the back office, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're your own customer service person, but you still have to fix pumps, you're the worst customer service person in the world because you're not calling people back. You're fixing pumps.
Yep.
So if you have to third party that to a first line defense like an answering service, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Now there's new things coming out with some AI chats where you can get a front line. They're not going to be perfect. They're not going to answer every question like an owner would, but they can get you started.
And they're going to get back to that customer right away.
First, instant contact is what customers want today. They do not want to call tomorrow. They don't want to get an answering machine and get a call 3 days later. That's a lost customer.
Yep.
In today's world, right?
Yep.
So they want instant feedback. It doesn't always have to be the perfect answer, but it makes them feel better when it's an instant answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On top of that back end, right? Outside services. Do you have somebody doing your books for you?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
At bare minimum, do you have somebody doing your taxes for you? Are we making sure that we're getting all the write-offs that we can get? Are we making sure that we're leveraging and taking advantage of, depreciation, tax programs that are out there, whatever that looks like? Are we actually harnessing all that as well? Right. So it doesn't just come to, who's going to fix that pump when it's down, who's going to change that boom swivel, but who's going to make sure the books are good, who's going to answer all of the customer inquiries or issues and make sure that the customer is being taken care of as well. Plus all the preventative stuff. Guys, we're just saying, take a honest look at everything it takes to actually be a top tier operator. Take an honest look at those things and say, what can I actually take care of on a normal basis? What things do I need to outsource so that it's taken care of correctly or in a timely manner? And build a Rolodex.
Yeah.
And have those people available to you. And don't just call them every time you have an emergency, right? Because that creates a bad relationship with that person. If you have a distributor and the only time you call them, you're screaming and kicking and yelling at them that they need to come out and fix this one thing, and you do that once a year, that distributor's not going to want to take care of you that much anymore.
Yeah, and coming from the distributor world, the customers that you only hear from once every 2 years, and it's always a Saturday. To be honest with you, they're not going to get the same level of service as that guy that is supporting them. Relying on them. You don't have to buy everything from your distributor, but you should rely on them and have a relationship with them.
Yeah,
not just I need you once every 2 years for a Saturday emergency, because quite frankly, you're probably going to overpay for that Saturday emergency.
Yeah.
Because it's all about relationships when it's with a distributor.
Well, the car wash business is all about relationships.
Yeah. All these folks.
All of these things tie in together, and it's all a relationship. So, you could have a distributor do your quarterly PMs.
So this goes back 2 years, when you're doing, when we started this and you do the SWOT analysis, if you do a job description or multiple job descriptions of whatever it takes to take care of your site, whether you have 1, 2, or 7 or 12 sites, and your name appears on there for everything, or your wife, or your daughter, or your son-in-law, or whatever, it might be time to, sit down, do a SWOT analysis on your labor and third party needs.
Yeah.
And say, okay, guys, look, we have to take care of the stuff that really affects the day-to-day operations. What are the things that we can outsource
that don't need an operator's touch?
Right.
Don't stretch yourself so thin that none of the key things that need the touch of an operator you can't do.
Yeah, like I wouldn't personally, I wouldn't pay a distributor to change a vacuum hose, right?
No.
But if I can be out there talking to the customers and maybe changing vac hoses and vac motors myself, and my in-bay automatic goes down and needs a new rotation motor, and I don't have that motor,
but my distributor
does, and he can come out and do it in 3 or 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I have to run around, overnight parts, do all kinds of stuff. It's probably worth it to hire that guy.
Amen to that for sure.
Yeah. And we get these questions all the time. Some folks will call and you have very good electrical abilities, and we will talk to them and realize right away they're trying to do something they should not be doing.
Yes.
If you do not have an electrical meter, you should not be calling Fix It Phil and asking him to diagnose a motor.
How to test three-phase.
Yeah, how to test three-phase, because it's dangerous.
It is. And you can get yourself into a tricky situation, in a second, right?
In a second, yeah.
Either it's hurting yourself or doing something that you're not understanding and causing an electrical fire down the road, right? So, it is okay to say, hey, I don't exactly know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
And sometimes it hurts to swallow your pride, or, it hurts to
pay a little money.
Have to pay that electrician what he's worth for coming and taking care of that for you. But at the end of the day, that's the price of doing business.
Yeah. Yeah. You pay your accountant to help you with, make sure you're not making mistakes on your taxes. You have to look at tradespeople the same way.
Yep. Absolutely. So as we build that people system, and as we look into the future of being prepared to pay that people system, the preventative maintenance gets us closer to affording paying that people system. Well, it costs me money to do preventative maintenance. It does, but it saves you money down the road, right? As we talked about the air compressor leaks in our past episode, and we talked about water leaks in the past episode, that all costs money.
Yeah.
So it costs money to fix it, but when you fix it, you're actually saving yourself money in the long run. So
I know personally, I was kind of like our IT guy. It got to the point where the IT kind of outgrew my knowledge base, my abilities. And, I could set up a router, and sure, I could install cameras and run cables. But there's guys that do this every day and can do it in a third of the time. Yep. And I have other things I have to do.
Yeah, for that business.
And the value of my time was not screwing a camera to the wall. It was maybe thinking about other ways that the business can make money.
Yep.
So you have to kind of look in the mirror.
We're having a lot of recurring themes going on here, right? The people system, SWOT analysis, being able to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, my name shouldn't be next to every job that needs done around here. And that's okay, right? Slow steps, big steps. We just want to help you get to the point where you can run a successful business and not run yourself into the ground at the same time.
Yeah. Another great example is, there are a lot of really qualified operators out there that can buy a pump stand from us and install it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right. However, we talk to them a lot, and, 2 weeks later, they're still kind of working on it. Right.
Yep.
Now they saved
in between
other things, and, they're down for 3 weeks, and, a distributor usually can come in and get that done.
Yep.
Time is money for them, so they don't want it to take 3 weeks. They want it to take 1 week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And be the guy that's pointing at them and saying, "Are you done yet?" rather than pointing at yourself and saying, "Why is this taking me so long?"
Yeah. Getting home another late night and trying to figure out how you're going to get it all done the next day.
And you might have another job.
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
a lot of these folks have other jobs.
Yeah. So I think that's a fair shake at the people system. Would you agree?
Yeah, I don't think we have to belabor this. I think they get the point.
Yeah.
We just did another one right before this, a long-winded one on just all the micro steps. This is more of a macro look at yourself, looking in the mirror. Go way back to our SWOT analysis. Think about your business. Think about the support system that you need to be that top level operator, even that middle level operator. You still need help.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And being able to come to terms with outsourcing things. It is okay to have other people help you when you need the help.
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, no, I think we landed the plane on this one.
All right, everybody. We want to thank you for being with us today. If you could please like, comment, subscribe, rate it on your favorite platform that you're watching this on. It really helps us out and it really helps promote the podcast. Also, Kleen-Rite Radio at Kleen-Rite.com is our email address. Share your stories, testimonials, anything you guys got going on at the washes. We got some fun episodes coming up and we might pick your story to go into it.
And we have to thank our great sponsor, Solve Industrial, great partner of Kleen-Rite's. Thank you for sponsoring this series. And we're going to catch you next time.
Absolutely.